Hey everybody, how's it going? Let's see, that's not the right patch. There we go. Get situated, running a little late today. Let's run through a few sounds here. Just check levels here. There we go. I echo on the Vox. Hang on. I need more space. I don't have a mouse where I need the mouse to be. Let's see. Big repeat on the mic. Okay. Are we talking in terms of seconds of latency or milliseconds of latency? Let me know. $50 milliseconds. That would be YouTube latency then. I wonder what's causing that. Quasar says 1 millisecond. Sounds still so Quasar says I sound awesome. I'll give you a hug for that later. For the general awesome. But your chorus. Quasar says 37 milliseconds. Or we're already pulling my leg. It's on my end. Okay, let's see. Oh, I know why. Oh, no, that's not it. That isn't it. No. I thought maybe I had a streaming, I had a audio movers plugin on main, but that's not it. Let's see. It's not those, and it's not that, and it's not that. Let's see. Sounds like I'm in the bathroom. Does the music sound that way, or just my voice? go through live and also direct. Let's go check. Hang on a second. Is the 828 audio? I don't know. This is a new one for me. You know what's changed? Nothing. So, like, okay. The music's good. All right. It's the voice. Okay. All right, well, enjoy the heartwarming ambience that is... What am I in? What are we in? Mixolydian. So, enjoy the twiddling for a minute while I go figure out what the heck's going on. That's going. I don't have duplication here. Hang on, audio may drop for a second. Yep. That's dropping, that's not it. Just talk faster. Thanks, Anna. Well, hey, we're going on like 60 shows now with no problems, and everything is really unchanged. Like, I didn't change anything, so I don't know what's going on. I wonder if I had something masking it, something else. It sounds like I'm in a cave. Okay, hang on. I know what it is. Ha. Is that better? Let me know if it's better now. So, sounds better? Great. Okay, so what it was is one of the mic cameras was on, and the mic is using NDI. So there's like latency there, but I've got a little bit of offset for it, but not enough. And normally I just mute the mics, mute the cameras. So now we know. So that's what changed. This camera, which is just an iPhone, a really old iPhone, auto updated over the last week. It, like, when I woke up when I came in here this morning, it was like a new, like, hello, welcome to iPhone. Like, oh no, what happened? So yeah, Bubba did it. Exactly. Okay, cool. Nothing changed, but the iPhone updated. I should have clarified. I changed nothing. It's that Tim Apple guy. All right. So that's just that. Let's see. We'll let this run in the background for a second. We'll let this. We'll put a little tiny bass line on it. We'll just drone. Break it down a little bit, and then we'll talk over it for a second. So, all right. So I'm using, this is the mouse, right? And the only horizontal surface I've got is like way over here. So the mouse is over here. The keyboard for it's up here. The actual laptop's over there. And so, anyway. Okay. So, And then there's 2 desktop monitors. So I'm like, okay, where am I? Where am I going? It's really weird muscle coordination because I have to reach behind me and slide to the right to get the mouse pointer off of that computer to come in on this one. Anyway, first world problems, man. All right. Let's see. Yeah, his iPhone is called Nothing. So technically, the iPhones are named iPhone Red and iPhone Piece of Shit. So, well, you know, that's how it is, right? You were like the slapback vocals. Nice. All right. Very yes sounding. Yeah, I was kind of shooting for that a little bit. In a sort of proggy sort of mood. Synth Seeker, not ergonomic seeker. Absolutely, Wabbit. Buy more surfaces. I put another surface over there. Like, the room is as horizontal. I'm gonna have to like go Japanese and just get really low to the floor for everything in order to make this work. I'm talking to the text here. The camera's over there. Let's see. You didn't know I had a Minimoog. I sing the Body Electric. I do. It is the capstone of my collection. And it's a reissue that I paid too much for. So there's a whole series of videos about it on the channel of me being happy and some people being happy and some people being really upset. And it's like, whatever. Here, let's turn this off. Let's hear some Mini. Oh, you probably want me to play it over here. And because it's monophonic and I'm a terrible player on the keyboard, we'll keep one hand on the filter because filter sweep is what we want, right? So not only am I a bad piano style keyboard player, my left hand is super weak. And so unless I like do this, I'm gonna play it really terribly. But I tend to reach over here. My left hand on the grid's not so bad. Honestly, I prefer playing the grid. Anyway, so yeah, I'm happy with it. There is a problem with mine in that it's one of the really early ones, and the aftertouch gate is like a gate and not a curve. And there's a fix for it, but I gotta send it to the factory, and I don't want to deal with that, especially now that InMusic bought them. So what I do is I take the CV out for aftertouch, and I just run it through a slew limiter, except that if I did that right now, I'd have to admit that I might still have some modular gear, and I'm not prepared to do that. So I sold it all. I didn't keep any of it, really. So there's nothing in the closet there behind the curtain. Not at all. And I swear it's just the fact that I have no horizontal surfaces left that I can't bring it out. Anyway. I did sell the sequencers, though, and I regret that. All right, so let's stop this stuff here. backdoor bass. All right, so welcome to Synth Seeker, Sunday Synth Shenanigans. We're already 16 minutes in. Hello, everyone. I should go through the list and say hi, but I'll let you say hi to each other because that's where the real relationships are formed, right? Yeah, nothing to see here. Send the modular sniffer dogs. What kind of dog breed is appropriate as the true canonical modular synthesizer sniffing dogs, right? If you had to detect synth modules at the airport, what is the dog breed that would be the right one for that, right? Hey, Biscuit, welcome back. I'm curious. Schnauzer, maybe? Berlin Schnauzer? I don't know. So, not Bichon, because my dog doesn't, he doesn't care. The Boston Dynamic dogs could sniff them out. Yeah, sure, the robotic dogs. Yeah. I could mount the modules on the ceiling. Yeah, I could. No, I couldn't. That's not going to work. Let's see. So what was I going to talk about today? Today I was going to actually talk about MIDI devices in Ableton Live 12 a little bit. Not so much, I'm not going to talk about Live 12 because so many people use lots of other things. I wanted to talk about the philosophy in Live for MIDI device processing and how that works for me and how we can have a little discussion because I've never used, it's been a long time since I used any other DAW at Ableton. Started with Sonar, Cakewalk, Cakewalk in the day, but it wasn't a DAW, it was just a MIDI sequencer. And it became Sonar, that was definitely a DAW. Cakewalk Pro Audio. I've used Logic a little bit, used Reason a fair amount, but that's about it, right? Touched Bitwig for like a day, touched Cubase for like a day, right? And so I'm curious what your thoughts are as far as MIDI processing. Let me describe how Live's MIDI processing philosophy is concerned, right? MIDI stuff are just event lists, right? Here are events that are happening. And in Cakewalk for DOS 2.0, where all this shenanigans started back in the late 80s, I think, 89, whatever that was. Someone can fact check me. When was Cakewalk 2.0? The guy who wrote Cakewalk, the sequencer, this guy Greg Hendershot, he embedded a Lisp programming language framework inside it because Lisps are simple and they're easy to embed in things. And he wanted a scripting language so that you can script tools and make MIDI processing tools. Like you want to, you want to quantize them, tweak some stuff, things like that. And the easiest way for him to do that, because he was a nerd, was to embed a Lisp interpreter into Cakewalk. And so that was my first exposure to MIDI processing at a low level. And so they called it the Cakewalk application language, Cal. So has anyone used Cal? Let's see. DOSLAL, I remember that. Yep. Yeah. Back in the day. 3.5-inch floppy Cakewalk Pro 2 for Windows. 93. October 92. All right. And Synchrotron, you never knew that? Used to program in Lisp? Oh, that's something you and I we can share. So Cal. Anyway, so I used to hack Cal scripts when I was, however old that was, 16, about 16. But because of that, I like and Lisp is a sort of a Unixy sort of tool language. And the Unix philosophy for tools is you have lots of little teeny tools that do one small thing. That's all they do really well. And then you build them up. You combine them together or chain them to make stuff. And that's how Live's MIDI philosophy pretty much works. The devices for processing MIDI in Live seem really simple and piddly, like the pitch control. It's got a knob, change the pitch. Now it's been evolving, right, from early versions of Live to now. Live 12 had a big update where a bunch of the MIDI and compositional tools got overhauled and folded into themselves in a very TARDIS-y sort of way so that they are much more complex than they used to be. But the philosophy is still there. You got a trough, your MIDI flows through it, you stick devices in as a chain, and you build up a complex thing out of simple things. I did a video on pedals and effects a year ago, I don't know, a while back, on micro versus macro effects, right? Some pedals, like a Boss distortion pedal, is a micro pedal. It just does, and I don't mean physically micro. I mean its purpose, the surface area of its purpose, its reason to be, is relatively small. It distorts things, takes a signal and distorts it, right? It doesn't have like 9 flavors of distortion like certain pedals do now. It did one thing, and that's what it did. That's a micro tool. Something like, what did I use in the video as an example? I think I used the Mood Mark II, I think, right? That's a pedal that combines a micro looper and a delay-based reverb and a mixer and a modulation, cross-modulation system. That is a macro tool. It has a bunch of different functions that are all welded together to achieve some cool, awesome, magical sound. And that's fine. But when it comes down to MIDI processing, the basic stuff is just an event list. And I like the style of being able to chain together really simple tools or stack them to do interesting things. Now, I don't know Reaper. You Reaper people can talk to me about this. Taskboy and Synchrotron, I've seen some, like Taskboy's shown it to me on the screen. I think I've heard Andy allude to it. Reaper's got its own internal scripting system, and that's what a lot of its processing is built out of. So I think Reaper might be in that micro vein where you've got a bunch of things that you can chain together. I don't know. Someone tell me on that one. So, Oregon Trail, who died of dysentery? Enzo, oh, you're telling someone that they died of dysentery. Yeah, a lot of Oregon Trail players out there. In the synthesizer world, a lot of us have played Oregon Trail. So, let's see. And Sound Blaster audio cards. Yeah, I used to love Sound Blaster, and I'm a little miffed at Sound Blaster at Creative Labs. Not because they did anything wrong, but because they ate the synth companies that I liked, right? They ate Ensoniq and they ate Emu Systems and stuff like that. Kind of sad. But I suppose if you want to make money, selling sound cards to gamers is way more profitable than making samplers and cool synths that are really expensive and only, a few thousand of them sell, as opposed to tens of thousands of video sound cards. Not video sound cards for video games. But let's see. Price. Unix license cost was over $5,000 back then. So I had a roommate. One of the guys in my life, story time. One of the guys in my life, I'm going to put a drone on here. Let that do its thing. And I want a thing here. So let that run. So, story time. One of the guys who sort of got me into the path of being a nerd was a friend of mine. His name was Turtle. I've mentioned him a few times. He's a good guy. He's got some issues. Nobody's perfect. We all got problems. Anyway, one of the things that he introduced me to was Unix for the first time because he had, believe it or not, figured out a way, and I may be misremembering the exact details of this, but he was a big fan of TRS-80s that had a Zilog Z80 in it, and you could get CPM for that. And he would run CPM on these TRS-80s. And then he started doing some hardware hacking, and his goal, and I don't know whether he achieved this, but he was trying to get Sys5 Unix to run on his TRS-80 on that Zilog Z80. One of the early, I don't remember if it was Sys5 or I don't remember, AT&T or Bell Labs or somebody, there was a Unix out there that would run on Z80s. And that was his goal because he wanted to write he wrote his own BBS. And then, I don't remember, I think he wrote it in like Quick Basic or something like that. But he wanted to have it running on a Unix that was running on his TRS-80 because he just thought that was hilarious. Anyway, so he got me into this whole Unix place, and then Linux came and all that. But going back to MIDI, the philosophy of having these small tools that do one thing well, and then you compose them together to do some higher end manipulation is a very very much alive in Ableton Live. There are macro style tools in there, like, what's a VST MIDI thing? Stepic, right? Stepic, the step sequencer. That's a macro tool. It does a shoot ton of stuff, right? Very large, very complicated system of systems within a single VST. Nothing wrong with that, but those don't really turn my crank. I prefer building that stuff myself. And now I'm not not necessarily very good at it, so using Stepic or something like it is usually simpler in the long run to being productive. But I'm at a point in my synth sort of journey where I have a collection, I'm happy with it, I make music, I'm pretty happy with it, although I release it like once a year, maybe twice a year. But a lot of fun for a lot of us, and you tell me if you think this is true for you, the joy is in the system building, right? All y'all who got into modular in the last few years, or you got into VCV rack or something like that, you're building systems and you're making music. And I know it's a spectrum, and some people are there for the music, that experience, be it performance or just recording. But there's a certain amount of joy in the system building, and that's why a lot of us do it. Let me know if that's true for you. So the music is appropriately sort of deep, right? You get philosophical, right? This is very vaguely, I may have just subliminally lifted this. I'm pretty sure this came out of the movie The Beastmaster. Once upon a time, I'm pretty sure Dar and Kodo and Podo are sitting on a mountain somewhere trying to figure out how to save the girl. What's her name? I can't remember the female lead's name. Damsel in distress, right? Let's see. Let's see. Let me scroll back here. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We went from Creative Labs, MS-DOS to Windows to Unix. Let's see. JSFX, that is the scripting tool inside Reaper, if I remember correctly. Is that what you said, Andy? Or is JSFX a Lisp machine you used to use? Enzo may be talking about that. Let's see. The audio card I bought came with an EMU daughter board, says Synchrotron. Yep. That's cool. If you have a photo, that's worth sharing. I've never seen the daughter board from EMU, but that's cool. Quasar says neckbeard plus drone plus story equals popcorn. Do I have a neckbeard? I don't have a neckbeard. I need to trim a little bit, but I mean, the beard's up here. My nephew's got a neckbeard. So he's in his third year of college, and he hasn't shorn anything. He's a good kid, but he's real shaggy at this point. Anyway, no pictures of him. Let's see. I Sing the Body Electric says I'm a total ignoramus in those matters. Let's see. But I do recall that the golden time Unix seems to only be on high-end workstations for CAD. That was a phase for sure. I remember when I was doing digital prepress, another little story time, and we got a RIP, a raster image processor, basically just a computer that sits between my computer and the printer. This Hell linotype thing. It prints on. We used to do printing, so we would have to print to sheets of Mylar, transparent, and then use those to burn the plates of the printing press to do that. And in order to render the pages, there's 8 pages on a layout. You'd print them through this raster image processor called a RIP, and we were really stoked once upon a time because we got a new RIP, and it had a 486 DX4 120 processor in it, and it was running some Unix variant specifically for ripping and things like that. And we used to tease people and say, we used to go, my printer is more powerful than your laptop, buddy. Anyway, nerd penis waving. Let's see. All right, we're in geek stuff. Geek stories. Let's keep going. Let's see. Linux. Let's see. The Incredible Machine. Oh, is that from Disney? or from Incredible Machine, something out of Epcot or something like that. This used to be a Berlin School music channel. Thanks, Rich. Don't say that out loud. People will drop. They'll be like, I'm out. It's never been a Berlin School music channel because all the true old Berlin School guys would give me comments that said, this isn't real Berlin School, so whatever. If you're here during a stream, you're here for the conversation, not necessarily the music. I will perform some music in a minute. All right, we're at 2:30, so I should probably get back to that. I have enough beard for a great story. Okay. Let's see. Nice, Steve Smith. Oh, so were you a stripper? Steve, that's what lithographer, right? The nickname for lithographers was strippers. They used to tell people, yeah, I'm a stripper. I work on a light table. You know? Let's see. But can your printer run Doom? Everything runs Doom. All right, this is my last geek reference. What was the name of... Someone did a hack of the Doom sources when they came out so that you can play Doom to actually control... they like mixed Doom with PS for Linux so that you could use Doom. The processes running on the system were represented by monsters in Doom, and if you shot and killed a monster in the Doom game, it killed that process on the machine. And so you could... Anyway, nerd. Okay. All right. You guys, I think that's enough seed material for you all to talk amongst yourselves. I'm going to make some music here. So let's take 15 and build something up. All right. All right. Okay. So what are we doing today? We've got the summit. Doing this sort of like broken whistle. I think that's like tuned noise. So we're going to use that for some simple comping. Like that. And then we've got the Wave 2 that's doing strings today. We're actually using the Wave 2 as a sampler. Because I was just in that film music-y mode. Then we have the Modwave. I don't like lo-fi, right? Because I grew up in the 80s and I hated Dolby B noise reduction. It's like if I wanted lo-fi music, I'd just turn on Dolby B, right? I've said that a few times. But this has got like a gritty behind it. This is the Modal, no, this is the Modwave. I might have ordered a Raspberry Pi or requested a Raspberry Pi for my birthday because I so want to build my own synth similar to the Korg other Raspberry Pi synths. All right, the Mini we've heard a lot of. That sounds like Electrical Light Parade. Hold on. Let's see. Os control on, oscillators in tune. All right. Let's play with the overload. I don't know if the camera can see this. Hang on a second. Don't know what screen I'm looking at. All right. All right, so Minimoog. This is the Modal Cobalt. I like patches where the envelope, when you play legato, the envelope doesn't reset. So if I'm playing staccato, I'm actually stopping each envelope and starting a new one. So the envelope re-triggers on every note, or versus I like having that option, right? Because it's like if you're playing guitar or bass and you do like a hammer-on pull-off sort of thing, that's what this feels like. It's like a hammer-on, as opposed to playing them individually and getting the pluck part. It's like the difference between a hammer-on and a tremolo pick, right? I tend to be legato when I'm running down, and I tend to be staccato when I'm running up, and that's just because I don't practice enough. You hear the difference? And they're in there from time to time. So, all right. And then the Hydrasynth. How loud is this? Let's bring you up a bit. I'm liking the Hydrasynth more and more every day. Sorry, I'm turning my back to the camera to play it, but the Hydrasynth plays really nice with the pushes MPE. Or even it's just poly aftertouch. And then we've got our Nord. Somebody showed up in the comments for last week's video, or last week's stream, and they are super Nord fans. If you're here, they were like, I really want an A1, but where do I get one for cheap? Like, I can't help you. All right, and then the Rick. All right, so what do we do with this? So we're in E, Mixolydian. Mixolydian's like a major scale, right? So just the seventh is flatted. Like a major scale would be, but that's Mixolydian. So it's real happy. I think it's more heroically triumphant sounding than major. That's just my take on it. So like, let's not do synths. Let's get a synth sound. I don't think I've got any polyphonic sounds. I think I'm entirely monophonic today. So we'll use the string. All right, so let's do something with this. We'll start with a bass. I'm just going to do something. Oh. A little heartbeat. doing a little ELP. The earlier stuff was yes, but we're here now. All I've got is a kick, though. Drop that an octave. Once it comes around, I'll drop it an octave. And let's fix its velocity. I sort of went nuts. So what I'm doing here, I know you may be enjoying the music, but so I played, my velocity was all over the place because I was just sort of winging it. And so what I did is I grabbed all the notes and pinned the velocity at 127 so that they all went to full velocity, dialed them back, and then added about 20 points of randomness to the velocity. So now they're all between 106 and about 76 or so. Still got that Minimoog line that I had recorded. I just stopped it while we recorded a Cobalt line. So I'm going to try layering them on top of each other, and we'll see how dissonant they are against each other. See you, Rob. Hey, Haslo. Congratulations on her graduation, Rob. That's awesome. Let's change the bass around. to start bringing a few things out. We'll replace them with something else. Hydrasynth wins. The Hydrasynth is very expressive tonight, for sure. I need a drink, pardon me. It does get happier. I'm in a really good place today, like musically, but also just attitude. Good day. Today's a real good day. For those of you who are having less than good days, I hope this music helps a little bit. And if it doesn't, you have my everlasting gratitude that you were willing to come listen, and I hope you feel better. So how many lead lines can we lay on top of each other before it starts to sound like too much? We'll bring back the Minimoog and we'll bring back the Cobalt one at a time. Works. Mini. All right, I'm going to bring the kick out. This is Deedle Deedle music. If you've ever seen any of the earlier streams or you watched January, this music is what my mother would call Deedle Deedle music, D-E-E-D-L. And it's like, imagine Bach, 4-part invention here. We got 3 pieces plus the bass, so we'll call it 4-part. But it's like stuff's going on everywhere. There is not a 16th note unturned in this. Or 5 parts, actually. I'm going to bring them out one at a time and we'll listen to them. We'll see what happens to the piece as we pull parts out. I'm down to 3. We're going to pull out the Nord now. We'll pull out the Cobalt. Put a drone back in. And we're out. So, oh, that turned out pretty well. I was happy with that one. So, turn off my metronome clicking in my ears. So, what do you guys think of that? Hope that was making people happy. I couldn't really keep up with the chat. Yeah, I mean, there are no bad synths, but the Hydrasynth is winning today because I set it up for expressiveness. I didn't. I can do that with the others, but time, laziness. I say I run out of time. It's because I procrastinate up to about an hour before this stream. Then I'm like, oh crap, I need to go set everything up. So yeah, it's me. It's on me. It's nothing's wrong with the synths. There are no bad synths, right? Let's see. So it wasn't such a good day, but it is now. Aw. Thanks, man. That helps. And I hope it stays that way. So, yeah. Like the deedle deedle. Yeah, my mother, she's like, that's how she would describe it. Deedle deedle music. She went to, I think, University of Iowa Conservatory. My mother was a music major. And she never pushed music theory on me. But my father would put on some Bach or something like that. And she's like, oh, deedle deedle music. So. Let's see. Can you point out the Cobalt when you have a second, please? Steve, sure. Here's the Cobalt. Do you want me to just play it, or do you want to hear the pattern it was playing? Because the sound is... There's a lot of delay and reverb on it because Synth Seeker, right? But there's one outside the key. No, the Cobalt is, let's go on a journey. Okay, here's something I haven't done before. I don't think, well, the mic, I'm tethered on the mic. So next time I'll bring that out. So behind me, back there, is the Cobalt 8M from Modal. It's a rack mount 3U virtual analog, although I think it's a wavetable synth. Cobalt made something called the Argon, which they called a wavetable synth. And then they came out with the Cobalt, which they called a virtual analog synth. But I'm going to tell you right now, the oscillators on that are not square, saw, triangle, sine. They're 36 different kinds of mathematical bonkers oscillators, and all of them are mangleable, morphable, shapeable. So while it's not a wavetable in that you've got a set of frames that you move through, like the Argon or any other wavetable synth, the Cobalt sounds like a really cool wavetable synth where all the waves are doing weird stuff. It does virtual analog if you want to sound, give me a saw. It's perfectly capable of doing that. But I like that synth a lot, and they're dirt cheap, so I would totally get it. This is like the most boring sound I can get out of it. Here, I don't really do synth reviews, but I'm just going to play I'm just going to go through a few random patches. And what we'll do is we'll turn off the echo. I'm going to leave the reverb on, though. And I'm just going to play a couple sounds. Here you go. This is the Cobalt 8M. Let me get my mod wheel up here. There's one of those lo-fi things. It's got this sort of degradation coming in the background. I'll do a couple more. I know this is boring for some people, but you ask, Steve. Sort of like a didgeridoo bass. Let's see if I can get this to go in sync. Anyway, so I like the Cobalt. It's a great synth. I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. rid of it. The argon is also good. And now that Modal's like restructured or whatever, they've got another synth called the Carbon allegedly coming. That's like a mashup of the argon and the Cobalt. So I don't know, we'll see. Yay, studio tour. That's the studio tour. It's over there, right behind me. I like doing studio tours, but I try not to do studio tours because when I see other people do studio tours, it's like, oh, that's kind of cringe. Yeah, yes, you have a lot of synths, whatever. Right? So make fun of yourself. The Cobalt is blue. Yes, it is. So blue synths. So I almost bought a Waldorf Kyra. And what stopped me is you couldn't get the blue one or the green one, right? So I think at the end of their run, they're like, just powder coat some new colors on that thing just to get them off the shelf, right? I'm sure if you chip away the color on the blue and the green ones, the standard white one color paint is underneath it. I don't think they were made blue and green from the factory. I don't know, right? So I may be completely wrong. But I almost bought a Kyra because I really wanted one of the seafoam green ones, even though its user interface is like unusable. But I have 3 red synths, and I've got 2 blue synths, and I've got a sort of a sage green synth. That's the Op6, right? A whole bunch of black, a whole bunch of silver. And then the matriarch, of course, is the Angry Fruit Salad Moog version. It's not the cool black Darth Vader version of the matriarch. I have the Angry Fruit Salad one. So let's see. The Cobalt is the blue one right behind my neck. Yes, I'm sorry. So just Google Cobalt. You'll see Cobalt 8M. You'll see exactly what it is. It's a great synth. Ableton. I like Ableton. Yep. I'm definitely in a cockpit at this point. And the room is nice and toasty. I've got the door closed. So as we've said before, someone in my house is of a certain age where hot flashes are a thing. And so the AC in our house fluctuates pretty wildly. But when I close the door and I turn everything on, or a lot of things on, this room normalizes to about, 75 degrees. It's just right. But as long as I don't have to pee, if I run out the door and open it, then this room drops and the Minimoog goes right out of tune. It's not that bad. Okay, good. I'm glad, Steve. They've got them for less than 400. Yeah, they were not expensive. They were very reasonable. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Cobalt 5S. Yeah, they've got like a Take 5 version. Right. So, let's see, the Cobalt Puce. Yeah. The blue PPG. I'm a big fan of the blue, that PPG blue. So it's right over there. So here's the thing that I can't do. I cannot take the microphone with me because I'm on a short tether. I should probably invest in wireless, but that camera, this one, the one that's showing the Minimoog, is mobile now. So I could pick it up and move it around the studio, but the microphone, I'd have to shout. I don't feel like doing that. Let's see. What are we doing on time? Oh, we're basically done. So if you need to run, I've been doing this for an hour. If you need to run, feel free to run off. But I'll keep gabbing for a few more minutes here. The Cobalt Puce. The entire MIDI channel setup. Is that what I'm sorry, was that a question, Enzo? Hold on, let me scroll back. Is the wavetable better than the one on the Hydra? No, it's not as flexible as the one on the Hydra, but it is very nice. But at the end of the day, here's a not unpopular opinion, but here's my thought process on wavetables and morphing oscillators and complex oscillators and oscillators in general. All synths make sounds. We'll call them waves. They make waves, right? Some synths, like the Minimoog, are fairly limited in the landscape of waves they can make. But for the most part, any modern synth now, unless they specifically limit it for a reason, can make all sorts of stuff. And so the Hydrasynth has a wave scan mode, which is like wavetables. The Cobalt 8 is a virtual analog, but all of the oscillator waves are morphable and mangleable. They're mutatable. So it functionally, to my ear, it sounds like when I turn a dial and mangle a waveform on the Cobalt 8, it sounds just like scanning through a wavetable, right? So almost everything's a wavetable these days, both in hardware and software. So that's my opinion on it. We can debate it, right? If you're in the Discord server, we can debate it at length, right? So yeah, I mean, the Micro Freak, right? It's got a mode where you're morphing the engine that's, making the waves. And you can modulate everything. So if you modulate the morphing of the waves, boom, you got a wavetable, right? Functionally, it's a wavetable. You have to put the washing on, then you might jam. Okay, Anna. So we've got a cool thing now. I have to crow about this. This is something I'm super, super pleased with. So on the Discord server, I know I keep talking about the Discord server. I swear I'm not fishing for patronage. I'm really not. On the Discord server, though, one of the members set up a Jam Taba jam. You guys have seen it. We've done jams, 3 of them, I think, 2 or at least 2, I think 3 now. He's enabled it with like if this then that Internet of Things stuff. So now when someone gets onto the server and starts making noise, like you can set it up so that a light comes on in your home. So I think that's what Animotion has done. Jeff Hopkins, if you're still in here, Jeff's the one who set it up. So now when people from the Discord server get in there and start jamming, other people, like the bat signal lights up and says jamming is occurring, right? You could set that up in your home, right? And then hop on. It's just the coolest thing ever. I love it. I don't have it set up to notify me, but I could. But we'll get there. It's just amazing. So way to go, Jeff. And way to go, Anna, for really embracing it. Let's see. The Cobalt expander. I haven't really looked at that. I watched one video on it. It's another remake of the original, I think, and that's fine. Let's see. I'm trying to catch up with the chat here. All right. We're all from internet land. Yeah, this is very true. Okay. Well, so it's 3:05. I need to shut it down because the rest of the afternoon is my wife's time, right? So I'm going to go hang on the couch and she's engaged in fiber arts, and I will go pay attention to her and my dog and things like that. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate it when you show up. I should monetize this, but I'm just not going to. I hope you're all having a good time. I hope you're all making music, and post in the comments if you do something you're really chuffed about, right? And if you're on the Discord, you know where to share it. But I had a lot of fun today. The music was super fun, and the feedback was fun, and our little stories and our nerd journeys and things like that. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. And, have fun, right? Let's see. Now this comes to where do I go to turn things off? I got to find it all. All right. So that's it. I'll see you again. A week ago I was burning out a little bit and I was like, maybe I'll take the month of July off. Nah, I'm going to keep going. So I'll see you next Sunday. All right. Have a good one. Bye.